What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are taking a closer look at the Corsa Performance Sport turn-down catback exhaust system fitting all 2021 and newer 2.3 liter EcoBoost 4-door Broncos. Now if you want to bring some life to your EcoBoost and add some extra character to your Bronco, this system is going to do just that. Now when talking about pure volume here, this is going to come in at a 3 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being stock and 5 being wake the neighbors loud. So if you want to hear your exhaust when you get on it, but still want to enjoy a comfortable cab environment, whether you're dailying your Bronco on the highway or cruising on back roads, this is going to get the job done while also eliminating any annoying drone in the meantime. Now while this will improve sound, this will also just be great for the avid or even occasional off-roader who wants to benefit from some better ground clearance and minimize any damage or pinching that they would otherwise get with their factory system, and just wants to do that in a premium and durable option. Now as you can see, this is going to feature a pretty simple system with 4 major components here, but it is going to be effective getting you a throatier and deeper tone out of the 2.3 liter. Now this system will also include no drone reflected sound cancellation technology, so that exhaust noise that you're going to get will mostly keep to the interior, but when you're cruising in high gear, you're not going to notice that it's there. Now that is important to note as well, considering that this is a turn down exhaust system, so that noise is going to be pushed a little bit forward compared to others that are mainly out the back of the Bronco. Now the turn down system will also be beneficial for getting you a couple extra inches of clearance, so if you need to scale obstacles that you otherwise wouldn't be able to with your factory system because of potential damage, this system will allow it. Now this will have a 2 3/4 inch mandrel bent high quality 304 stainless steel build for smooth and unobstructed airflow, up to 118% more airflow according to Corsa, and the grade of stainless steel will offer optimal rust resistance, which will be great for really any climate. And the muffler will have a high tuck center forward location to maximize those departure angles and to reduce any damage on the trail, especially with how the tailpipe is positioned. Now, you shouldn't be able to come down on anything and potentially pinch it shut, which again is a potential concern for the factory system. Now the muffler and overall weight of this exhaust will also be less than factory, saving you about 11 pounds, which if you're mindful of your build's weight, this will help you out a bit. Also, with being a premium system, these are going to have factory style hangers, and you're not going to have to worry about any cutting or welding with the full bolt-on construction. This system will come in at about $925, and for what it is, I definitely think that the quality and the sound speak for themselves on this one when it comes to the price point. Now compared to other choices, this will, in my opinion, have everything that you would want out of a mildly aggressive catback for your Bronco if you are going to be taking it out on the trail often or even just once in a while. Now, the price tag is well worth it when it comes to the rust resistance here with the high quality 304, the no drone tech that you're getting with this muffler, and the off-road benefits with the turn down positioning. Now I think if a high quality, good looking and tough sounding system is what you're looking to choose for your Bronco, then this is going to be a great option to tap into. Now install here again is going to be completely bolt-on. No modification is required to the system or your Bronco. So it's going to come in at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it may take you about 3 hours to get the job done, give or take. I wouldn't be surprised if you got it done sooner. Now if you don't want to tackle this install yourself, this system is eligible for our recommended shop install program, where we will set you up with a shop that's local to you at a set low price, and you can check out more information about the program on the product page. However, if you do plan on installing this yourself or are just interested in a detailed breakdown of the install, we can head over to our shop and check it out on our Bronco right now.
The tools you'll need for this project are an impact gun or a ratchet, a 10mm and a 15mm socket. You may also need an extension and a swivel 15mm socket or a 15mm wrench, a torque wrench, a hanger removal tool, some anti-seize lubricant, and some spray lube. Hi everyone, today we're installing an exhaust on our Bronco, but first let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock system.
So to remove the axle back portion of our exhaust, we have a clamp with a 15mm nut on it that we'll have to loosen up, as well as a couple hangers that we'll have to remove. So we can take a 15mm socket to loosen up our nut on our clamp. Next, we can pop our hanger out of our isolator using a pair of exhaust hanger removers. And now we can do the same thing on the other side for our other isolator. So now once we have all of our hangers removed, we can pull back on our muffler to remove it. Now once we have the axle back portion of our exhaust removed, we can come up to our flange. We have two 15mm nuts that we need to remove, and then two 10mm bolts that hold our hanger. So now we can take a 15mm socket to remove our two nuts. Next, we can grab a 10mm socket for our two bolts holding in our hanger. Now lastly, we can remove our hanger that's right above the axle. So we'll get a hanger remover tool, pop that out. And now we can slide our pipe off of our flange up front and remove our exhaust pipe.
All right, first thing we're going to do is install this plate hanger, and we're going to install it right here where the other hanger that we took off, right behind the head pipe. And we're going to be reusing the stock bolts that we took out from the original hanger. So we're just going to put this up in place like so, make sure the holes are lined up, and insert the two bolts. And once you get them started, we can go ahead and tighten them down with our 10mm socket. Now we're going to go ahead and install this rubber isolator on the hanger itself. And you might find it easier if you use some sort of a spray lubricant or some soapy water to help push it on, especially since it's a brand new hanger. All right, now before we get any further in this install, I want to let you know that we are recommending that you use an anti-seize lubricant on all of your threads on the bolts and on the clamps themselves, just to keep things from stripping out. It doesn't take a whole lot, just put a little bit on the threads. And like I said, we'll put that on our clamps as well. And now we can go ahead and install our first pipe. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and take our front pipe here, slide it into the hanger that we just installed. And then we'll insert the pipe over the head pipe that's still on the vehicle and reattach the original nuts. Now we're not going to tighten these down just yet. We'll wait till the end after we've got everything lined up, and then we'll snug it, then we'll tighten it down. All right, now we're going to go ahead and install our mid pipe over the axle here, and we're going to insert the hanger on the pipe into the isolator already on the vehicle. Now this is going to go in from the outside of the vehicle towards the drive shaft. Make sure that goes all the way through. Now we can install our muffler. All right, so now we're going to install one of our clamps over our mid pipe here. And when you install this, you want to make sure that the bolt for the clamp is towards the inside, towards the drive shaft, and also that the nut is facing down. So we'll just slide that over the end like so. Now we can install our muffler into the mid pipe, and then we'll slide our clamp on the front of the muffler. And by the way, our clamps have already had the anti-seize applied to them. And we'll slide this onto the front pipe. So we'll slide that on, make sure that we've got adequate coverage on the front and the rear of the muffler. And now we can snug these clamps up. Now you want to make sure that your muffler is pretty level, and then we'll snug the clamp up. We're not going to tighten it all the way, we're just going to snug it up to hold it in place. And you want to have the clamp as close to the end of the muffler as you can, and we'll snug that up with our 15mm socket. And now we'll do the same thing for the clamp at the rear of the muffler. Again, we're just going to snug it up to hold it in place. All right, now we're going to install our tailpipe hanger into the isolator here. Then we'll slide our clamp over our tailpipe and put our tailpipe into our mid pipe, and then we'll snug that clamp down. Install our clamp. And we'll snug our clamp down with our 15mm socket. All right, now that we've got everything installed and snugged up, now's a good time to go through and double check everything. Make sure everything is level across the bottom of the truck here. Make sure that there's no interference between the pipe and the bottom of the truck, or hoses or suspension or anything like that. Once you're happy with the location and everything, now we can go ahead and start tightening everything up. And we're going to start with the 2 bolts at the front of our head pipe here. Now at this point, this inside nut here on this head pipe, you may need to use either a swivel socket like what we have, or you'll have to use a 15mm wrench to tighten it up because the clearance is too tight up here to be able to get your regular socket in. So let's go ahead and get these tightened up. All right, now we're going to start tightening up our clamps along the exhaust system, and the manufacturer does recommend torquing these down to 45 foot-pounds, so that's what we're going to do. Now for this one right behind the muffler here, you may need an extension just to clear all of the suspension pieces that are on here. And finally, we'll get the last clamp on our tailpipe. All right, now that we've got everything torqued down, it's ready for our test drive. Go ahead and start it up, take it for a test drive, make sure there's no weird noises or anything. And then once it comes back, go ahead and shut it down, let it cool off, and retorque everything just to make sure that it's still tight. And that wraps up our review and install of the Corsa Performance Sport Catback Exhaust with turn down tip for your 21 to current 2.3 liter EcoBoost Bronco 4-door. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Bronco, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.